Hi, my name is Mr.C, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of support for some code.org stuff. So I am not affiliated with code.org, nor do they endorse this or know that I exist. So yeah, that's this. But I'm doing this to support my students both synchronously and asynchronously. Thanks. Yeah, my sponsor is, no, I don't have any sponsors. All right, so we're going to take a look at this. I'm doing this as a kind of asynchronous support. Oh, hey Tom, how's it going? You hang in there. All right, so anyway, I'm doing these as a series of kind of color-coded, shape-coded workshops. Yeah, I've decided to name that little dude Tom. So we've got Blue Circle, which I did before. It's up on YouTube right now. You can check that out. I don't know, the places. That was to cover lessons basically 3 to 6. Now I'm going to be talking about lessons 7 and 8, maybe a bit of 9, but mostly 7 and 8. And that's talking about sprites. So I'm going to try to do a quick overview. If you are watching me live, which I see many of you there, thank you for sticking around. If you have questions, comments, or if I skip something or any of that, please throw it in and feel free to interrupt. And that's why I'm doing these workshops. I just thought I'd record it for anybody who couldn't see this live. All right, so what is a sprite? It was a fake creature that existed in, I'm just kidding. So in terms of coding, as far as I understand it, sprites are effectively, I kind of did a video about this already, but they're effectively a little space off stage, kind of, where you can actually do some preparatory work. And then when you call up your sprite onto the stage, then it does its job. So that's kind of how I view sprites. And I did a whole video about that. But basically you get, in this, you get 2 new lessons, which is draw sprites and variables populating a sprite. And it basically works like this. There are videos on code.org. Please work your way through. I don't really know that much. I'm still learning along with everybody else. So here we have a little bit of code that calls on sprites. And if you remember in our variables lesson, how it does that is it populates a variable. In this case, the name is fruit1. Remember, quick little side note, variable naming, you can't have numbers. So can't have numbers, can't have spaces, and it's gotta be very exact. So what I mean by that is this is fruit1. This is not fruit space 1. This is, hey Tom. This is fruit1. There are no spaces, nothing else. You'll also see this one, which is vegetable. You can have multiple words. It could be vegetables versus fruits, but you're gonna wanna have a way to delineate that. They use camel case, which is capitalizations at every new word, or you can use underscores. That's a quick side note about variables. So this code is saying, here's the fruit1 variable, and it's going to be a sprite. And I want that sprite to exist at 200, 200. So remember, this is X, and Y. So that's going to tell it on the program, make this spot for this sprite. And then it's a separate line of code says, okay, at that spot, at that variable, make it this animation from the sprite list, which is the little drop-down menu here. And if there's more than one, you'll see a few different options there using that little drop-down menu. This little drop-down menu is the name of the sprite that you have prepared. Now, where do you prepare that sprite? You prepare it over on your animation tab, which right here. So this is kind of this zone and that little coding box down there. But if you go up to animation, you can start messing with the actual pre-prepared sprites. So let's go take a look. Okay, so in this one, I've got those 3 already pre-made, and I can make as many more as I want under new animation. Now they're called animations, they could be called sprites. Yeah, you could totally put yourself as a sprite, absolutely. You can interestingly, if you click new sprite, you get a bunch of options pre-made with the animation library. Some of them are actually animated already as well, which is kind of fun. You can do backgrounds, you can do emoticons, all this stuff. But some of the fun ones are you can draw your very own. for those artistically inclined. You can also upload an image and make that a new sprite, but the image has to be quite small. It has to be less than 100 kilobytes. So itty bitty, okay? Not too high resolution on that. But you can use photos, you can use sprites, you can make your own GIFs. You can put in comments if you want to reopen that debate. But yeah, there's a bunch of options. So let's say I'm gonna build, I'm gonna put a building here this time, and let's put it a tropical little paradise thing. So that's gonna be my beach house, and I can change the name if I want to. I'm just gonna call it beach house, so it's easier to find. I don't need to worry about putting in underscores or anything. All right, so now I've got all these different sprites hidden away on the animation tab. Now most of these you'll see don't have any true animation. We're gonna get into that in a little while. But sometimes if you open up certain sprites or if you add it in, I still haven't figured out how to do that totally. But if there's a second bar here where you see that picture but up there, and then you can make more copies, that's an animation within the sprite, which is one of the ways you can have sprites be doing stuff, which is kind of fun. Speaking of doing stuff with sprites, you can use these built-in tools to draw, fill it in, erase, make shapes, move it around, select part of it, etc., etc., etc. Sample the colors. Speaking of colors, if you want to change the colors of any of these things like fill or drawing, you just click on this, select your new color, and draw. Away you go. Like if I wanted to put a little name on that slide, on that little shingle right there, I could go down and let's put this in white. I can select white there, and I'm gonna try to draw this as, I'm gonna zoom way in. You can actually see the pixels, and I'm gonna make it as small as I can. One pixel at a time. I'm gonna say home. So here's your pixel art for you right there. So you can customize this. Looks like it was written by a preschooler. Home. There we go. And when I zoom back out, you can now see that it's a custom built thing there. Okay, so let's go back to the earlier tab with code. And now, it does, doesn't it? It looks real nice. All right, so I'm just gonna move my face here. So here, just a quick reminder, variable created, create the sprite. Here's where to put it, X and Y locations on the grid. Then the sprite, fruit one in this case, set animation and the drop down. But now I've made a new one, and just for fun, I'm gonna see what it, see, there's beach house down there. So I can select that one and I can click run. And now it's got my beach house there. Isn't that nice? I could also change the scale, but I don't think I have that option here yet. Later on, you'll see other options, especially if you go into text version. I can change the scale of the sprite. So sprite, actually I forget what the actual code is that. I think it's sprite.scale equals 0.5. Let's see if that worked. Didn't give me an error code. Oh, it did kind of give me a minor error code. Do you know why? Because I forgot the semicolon indicating end of line. Probably. Got some other stuff going on. Oh, I've also got undeclared variables here, so I'll just delete those. Get them out of there. What's this one complaining about? Hasn't been declared. Oh, right. I have to name my sprite just so. Fruit one. And so there. Now it not getting any error codes. I can go back to block, and I can reset this. And there we go. My sprite of the beach house is now much, much smaller. So just a couple of things, kind of combining lesson 7 and 8. Go through, don't forget to share one of these, doesn't matter which, one of these as evidence that you have completed the lesson. And let me see some of your creations. Don't forget you can be as creative or just basic from the lesson as you want. Okay, so that's lesson 7. I'm almost out of time. I just want to go into lesson 8 super fast. Remember how to get around in these. You can just scroll down, and I just wanted to take a brief look at lesson 8, which talks about a whole bunch of stuff, but essentially the basics of it are you can change those sprites, and you can't read those, but it says you can have rotation, you can have scale, which you've already seen me use once. You can also change the X and Y, and that can be, I don't remember if that's, I wonder if I can hover over these. Oh, I can click on that and it'll help me. Sprite X, I guess, is the position. So you can actually have the position modified within the sprite as well. So there's a bunch of different, a bunch of different ways that you can interact with sprites, which is kind of cool. All right, so when you're diving into this, the first one's usually just a demo anyway. But here's our handy dandy bee here. And don't forget, you can always reset your version if you need to. I'm gonna just jump ahead a little bit. We can get a little bit of practice with some of these sprites. So in this one, a couple of things about drawing your sprites. So here's this lesson. It's from step 4, needing to worry about rotations and size. So if you take a look at this, you can see those notes are rotating around and they're also changing on size. So all of that is going to be done using this. The actual note animation is just the same sprite. So you can see that you can affect size, rotation, and position all within just a few simple lines of code. So we got drum set. Let me run this so you can see it. We got drum set and we've got notes and we got multiple populations of the note. Each of these, note 1, note 2, and so on, all call on the same sprite. So you can have the same sprite linked to multiple variables. And that allows you to have multiple iterations of it show up. And then you can do things like change the scale. The real key to this is don't mess up your naming, okay? So if you can just keep your names in order, so note 1, note 1, note 3, note 3. So long as you're referring to that each time, you'll be able to keep stuff nice and organized. And then of course it's got the rotation as well. And if you hover over any of these, you can read examples, right? You can see that, and you can also get extra help by going up to help and tips in the top. Essentially, play around with it. You can see you change the numbers here and you change the rotation. So let's give it a 20. That was at -4 before. 20. That didn't seem to do anything. Let's try that as a -20. A little bit. Let's do -90 just because I can. There we go. So you can see it's that third note, and the rotation that I set here will determine how rotated it goes. Let's go 44. There we go. So that kind of looks nice as it rotates around. Cool. So that's essentially sprites and basic sprite notation. You can do rotation, you can do scale. It's a number between 1 being regular size and a decimal being smaller, and a multiple upwards above that. When you're talking about scale, it's that's the scale. It's by a scale factor, right? And I think that's about it. Just try to keep your names organized. That's by far the #1 thing that most people will mess up with. At least me. Anyway. So thanks for joining. Stick around if you want to see some of the other workshops. I'm a little past time. Also, I use Creative Commons music, so in the background you've heard some music playing. So I'm gonna just splash that up on the screen because this will be on YouTube. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.